as always, I forgot the dadgum auto film camera thing was on. Luckily, it's only caught me in compromising positions one time, and I had to delete it because I was like, nah, I can't let the public see me looking like that. Couldn't let it happen. We turned on our do not disturb this time, so hopefully we will not be interrupted. However, the screen is super dark, and I like for it to be brighter. There it is. Hey, you. No, I'm just kidding. How are you all doing on this fine evening? I am over here freezing my ass off, and it's because Lady Florida has decided that this week, yesterday it was going to be a balmy 75 degrees, and then today the high was going to be 50 degrees. That's what she decided. And you want to know what's interesting? What's really interesting to me is that when I lived in Boston, the cold did not bother me. I was out in shorts and a tank top and a jacket. 1 minute and 11 seconds as I was saying this. And so somebody watching this, hey you, who's up north, I could walk outside in shorts and a tank top in 50-degree weather. But it's because I've been living there long enough to where my blood thickened and I didn't have to worry about being freezing. But living in Florida for the past, what's it been? It's been like at least 2 years. For those of you that don't know, the further south you move, whenever you go to places where, or not further south, but if you're living in places that are historically hot, or that are hot consistently, your blood thins. So you get used to being hot. And then when you move up north, your blood thickens. And so what had happened is that when I was living up in Boston, I was completely fine when it came to the cold because I had been living there for a hot minute. But, you know, now being here in beautiful Orlando, Florida has thinned my blood. So now anytime it gets 70, 69, 68, I am absolutely freezing. So I was not happy today when I checked AccuWeather, because that's the app that I used before I went to go do stuff, and I was a bit disappointed. I was a bit disappointed with how cold it was, primarily because I had planned to wear slides today, and I couldn't do that because of how cold it was. I mean, I could have, but then my feet would have been ashy and scruggly, and we could not have that. So, drink some water. Go get some water. Those of you who don't like the taste of water, that's okay. I talked about drinking hot tea last time as a way to sidestep the taste of water. Another thing you could do is you can add lemon to it. Something that I started doing a while ago that I haven't done in a minute is I would add like a shot or like a little bit of cranberry juice in there. Oh, that's good. And it really does help if the taste is something that bothers you. Oh, here we are, yet again, another night where I am here to yap your ears off about some topic, unscripted. I don't know what's going on or what's going to happen. All I know is that I've been enjoying doing these videos. Let's see, yeah, I feel like, there it is. Yeah, so 4 minutes and 4 seconds as I'm saying this. So all I know is that I really enjoy doing these videos, and I enjoy the process of talking. I'm a big talker. I like conversating. I like hearing interesting things that other people have to say. And so ordinarily, when I am in social situations, I do my best to listen. I go into social situations with the goal, if I remember, to listen, to hear what other people are saying, and to ask them more questions, engage them about their life and what they're doing. And so I do not oftentimes get to speak uninterrupted about myself. because I'm usually the listening board. I'm usually the person who people are like, oh, you're such a good listener. Oh, you save, you know, you hold space for me. And I love doing that. I love doing that. But I really look forward to these videos at the end of the day where I can just 5 minutes and 5 seconds, as I say that, where I can just ramble. I can ramble on. I love that. 5 in numerology represents change. I think it represents travel, uncertainty, realignment, and then something else I'm forgetting. But so somebody who is watching this may be about to travel soon, maybe about to go out of the state, out of town maybe. Be safe going out of town. Also make sure that you like stock up, make sure you're drinking some type of vitamin C beverage, drink some healthy stuff, really bolster your immune system before you hop on your flight to whoever's about to go out of town. And just keep your head on a swivel. Keep your head on a swivel. There's a lot of creeps out here doing creepy things. And when I say that, I'm saying that to everybody, not just to women, not just to people who are shorter or smaller. My dad is 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", somewhere in there, and he is built like a football player. He's a big black guy. And I'm always like, hey, I need you to be safe when he goes out. And he's like, of course. And it's because he has worked in psych. He's worked in psychology. And as a person who is also very into like murder documentaries and things of that nature, he knows that it doesn't matter how big you are, you can still be taken up through there. Yes, most people are opportunists and they're not going to try to attack a person who's bigger, but at the same time, it does matter to be aware of your surroundings and to, you know, keep it tight. I had a really good day today. And today I popped up super early and I hung out with my sister. She had some class stuff to do today, so I just kind of chilled out and meditated. I watched a video by the Oracle Fairy, who is also here on YouTube. If I remember, I'll put her a link to her channel in the description. If anybody here is looking for tarot card readings, she may be somebody to look into. 7 minutes and 23 seconds as I say that. 23 is one of my lucky numbers. So if I remember, I will do that. But she is called the Oracle Fairy, and she's usually wearing like cute clothes. She's got pink hair, and she's pretty great. I like her content. She's very down to earth. She's very funny. She's hilarious. And I've seen a couple of her videos, and so I was watching a video of hers today, and I felt like she was talking directly to me. I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, I appreciate you. So that's what I did this morning. Got to hang out with some friends. Got to hang out with a really cool cat, like an actual cat. He's so great. He's like really scrungly looking. 8 minutes and 8 seconds. So if you're watching this and you have a cat, cats are amazing. Tell your cat you love them, because even when they're assholes, they're still great. They're amazing. I was listening to somebody, a guy, I was listening to him talk today about cats, and some other guys were complaining about how cats can be assholes, and he was like, well, a cat will tell you. A cat will communicate to you when they don't want to be touched. Like, they let you know, and you can't just call a cat over and it's gonna, you know, run up to you and like do things. Like, cats teach you consent. They teach you how important it is to consider how they feel about things. Like, and a lot of people that I've met specifically, ooh, Tammy, chill out. A lot of people that I've met specifically do not like cats because they can't be, they're not as easily controllable as dogs are. And I get that frustration as a person who, myself, I have had a dog, and I'm very big into making sure to train and discipline my dog. But when it comes to cats, cats really are free spirits, and cats are just funny. I love cats. Cats are great. It's funny because I'm actually highly allergic to cats and dogs, but I don't care. I pop some allergy medication, I take some like nasal spray, and I keep it trucking because I love them. They're just so great. They're so great for your mood. They're great for you. They're great for themselves. They brighten up the space. You know, even when animals are assholes, Like, it's still nice to have their energy around. I know some of you might be like, nah, because my cat's a whole asshole. I get that. I get that. Let's see. It was a pretty relaxing day. A big message that I got from just meditating was that I needed to listen more. I started having some ear problems. Many years ago, when I was around 9 years old, I actually had a really bad ear infection, and it got really, 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 really bad. And so my ear was in pain. I was like up at night crying. I was like, it hurts to touch. And so my mom took me to the ER because that was what was open at the time. And the doctor looked in both of my ears and was like, I don't know why you brought her in. She's fine. And he left. And then when offices opened, my mom took me to a pediatrician. And the pediatrician said, I'm very glad that you brought her in. It is one of the worst ear infections I have ever seen. And it was actually beginning to deteriorate the eardrum. And so my mom wrote a very strongly worded letter to the doctor of that hospital that we went to, because she was like, you don't have to be a specialist to know when you look in somebody's ear, it's not the right color and things look off. Like, I get that he's not a specialist, but he should have known. I was a kid, so, you know, I remember vaguely what happened. I don't remember a lot of my childhood, if I'm being honest. But that doctor, she was great, the pediatrician, and since then I have frequently had ear infections in my left ear, or I've had ear problems. I don't have ear infections frequently now as an adult, but I do occasionally get ear problems, and because of that, this ear canal is actually shaped kind of weird. So when I have earbuds in, it's just like a whole situation. So a couple days ago, I started to have problems in this ear. Like, I felt like I couldn't hear very well, and I was like, no, I don't have like the proper accoutrement, you know. And by accoutrement I meant health insurance to go to an ear, nose, and throat doctor and to get this stuff figured out. So I kind of meditated on it. I did a little bit of energy healing on it, and it feels a lot better. I'm actually very, very happy with the results. Yeah, I can hear really well. I always do like a test, so like I'll snap in one ear and then I'll snap in the other to see how muffled the sound is. So if anybody watching this has seen me in public and you've seen me like do this, or you've seen me snap like this, that's why. Because I'm trying to make sure. My biggest concern, like when I went to like at some point later in my adult life, I went to the ear, nose, and throat doctor, and they were like, she might go deaf, like she might have problems. I was so upset because music is, it's how I get through so many things, is listening to music. And I would have been so sad if I had lost hearing in one ear, especially because at that time I was a performer. I was singing a lot during that time, and I was like, I need to be able to hear so that I can, you know, do my, what were they called? When you go, like when you're in music programs in school, forum, like at the forum, like weekly, you know, somebody would go and they would perform their piece, and 13 minutes and 30 seconds. So I guess I must be talking to either some band kids or some choir kids. What up, fellow nerds? But you used to have to get on stage. For those of you that don't know, for music schools or music programs, typically if you're doing performance, so if you're playing piano, any instruments, or if you're singing, you're doing vocal training, what you'll do is, usually it is required, if you have a music minor or a music major, it's usually required that you attend like a class that is specifically about performing, and in that class you and other students will take turns performing. So like one class period, a couple people will perform, and the teacher will critique, the students will critique, and you kind of discuss all of that. And it was a very interesting time. I think I only did forum like 2 or 3 times, because I also, funny enough, there was always something. I was singing in choir at one point, and my teacher was like, your voice is just really gravelly. And I mean, you can hear it now, like there's vocal fry happening. And I went to the ear, nose, and throat doctor, and they took a tube and they, you know, stuck it where you would think, and they saw my vocal cords, and they were like, she has vocal nodes. And for those of you that don't know, Julie Andrews, who is in The Sound of Music, She was also, for those of you who don't remember Sound of Music, which was a musical, she was also in The Princess Diaries. She was the queen of Genovia. Genovia, the land I call my home. Genovia, Genovia. Bro, that man ate that anthem. He was really going off. I was like, damn, is this a real place? As a kid, I was like, oh, I want to go to Genovia. No, baby Asha, Genovia doesn't exist. She was also in Victor Victoria, where she was doing, like, I think, oh man, I haven't seen that movie in years, but I think she was dressed as a man. She was performing as a man, like singing as, like, because Julie Andrews' range used to be ridiculous. Yeah, and you can also look her up, Julie Andrews. Like, she's incredible. Love her. And she actually had vocal nodes. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken, but I think she got surgery, and the surgery that she got drastically changed her voice and decreased her range, so she stopped singing. Ooh, 15 minutes and 55 seconds as I say that. So if you are a vocalist who is watching this video and you are having vocal troubles, I am so sorry, first off. And second off, it is going to be okay. It is going to be okay. And if I'm dealing, or if I'm talking to somebody who maybe has a voice to sing and they just don't because they're afraid of what they sound like, I've said this in another video, sing, my love. Sing. Sing. It doesn't matter if you sound bad. It doesn't matter. I hate that society has done this to us, where things that we used to do as kids and not care what we looked like and not care what we sounded like, and we just enjoyed our innate sense of joy. We don't do those things as adults because we're afraid of being embarrassing or cringe. You know, I hate that. I hate that that's what we've done to our inner children. But sing, emote. So yeah, I don't know why I started talking about that. This happens all the time. I'll be doing these videos and I just go off on little tangents and I'm like, oh yeah, let's go over here. Oh, let's go over here. Oh, we're gonna talk about this. Oh, now we're gonna talk about this. Like, I get very excited about things and then I forget my train of thought. It's actually not as late as it usually is. It's probably about 11:45-ish my time here in Florida at the time of recording this. So this is actually not that late. By the time I get done with this video, I'll actually be going to bed at a reasonable time. I'm excited. Very excited. I love these little tassels on my dress. It's like built-in nunchucks. So yeah. Don't know what I was talking about. But it was a good day. I had a good day. Oh yeah, so I was moved because of the ear stuff that was going on. I was moved to listen today more so than I spoke. So I asked a lot of questions. I just kind of listened to the things happening around me. And something that I was told that I'm kind of moved to share it, is that I realized I had a personal realization today, and maybe if you're watching this, this is something that you need to hear. I can tell it's not something that you have realized yet. This is definitely something that somebody or a couple of people need to hear. So we know, a lot of us who work with metaphysical things and who are operating, you know, kind of in the spiritual realm, dabbling, if you will, we understand that when it comes to the act of manifesting or bringing things to you or stepping into alignment with the things that you want, that you need to know what you want, and you need to be clear about what you want, and believe that you can have it and believe that you deserve it. This is common knowledge, I would say. I think a lot of people, even people who don't dabble in this genre of life, they know that that's what it's about. So for me, I'm actually really, really good at that part. I'm really, really good at coming up with things to want. And I'm really, really good, 19 minutes and 19 seconds as I'm saying this, so somebody needs to hear this. I'm really good at coming up with things. So being like, oh my God, I want this car, I want this dress, I want this cell phone, I want this type of relationship. Like, I'm really good at that. And then I'm also really good at the believing that I can have it. I'm really good at the believing and then the knowing that it belongs to me. Like, I know that abundance is already mine. I know it. I know it in my gut that abundance is already mine, that I get paid and pampered to play daily. I already know that my living situation has already changed. Things are already set up for me to move into a different space. I just have not become aware of how that's going to happen yet or when that's going to happen. I have a couple of dates in mind, but nothing that is like super like it's gonna be this time. But the part, and I'm actually really good at the visualization aspect, which is imagining that you already have it and feeling as though you already have it. I'm pretty good at those things. You know, I'll sit down, you know, in a chair and I'll just close my eyes and I can practically feel the wind on my face if I'm driving a new car. I can smell the new car. I can feel being loved and held and cuddled on and kissed on in a new relationship. And that's still going. We are still on that train. We are still on the in love train. It's just different now. It's kind of like more comfortable, like it's settled in a little bit. I'm not as, oh my God, like, oh wow, this is new. Like it's more like a, okay, I'm in it. But I'm really good at that part. The part that I'm not good at, because I haven't spent any time in this particular section, is the in-between time. The in-between time. The example that I heard that I really like is when it comes to stepping into the abundance that you want, and the abundance can be anything. Love, material things, confidence, power, all that stuff. When it comes to stepping into your abundance, it's like ordering a package. It's like ordering something on Amazon. When you hit order is when you believe that it's coming to you. So you're scrolling through the web, you're scrolling through Amazon, and you see stuff. That's you saying, this is the thing I want, you putting it in your cart, and then ordering it is the I believe part. The time between when it is shipped out and when it actually reaches you is the in-between time. We all know that when you get the thing that you want, you're going to be super excited about it. You're going to be gung-ho. You're going to be locked in. You're going to be right there. We know that part. But the in-between part is the it is being delivered part. And for Amazon orders, you have a tracking number. And I just thought that in some cases, your tracking number are the confirmations that you see. It's you seeing other people getting the thing that you want. It's how odd is it that one of your friends actually got the same thing that you were thinking about, but you never said it out loud, like stuff like that. Those can act as confirmations. But for me, a person who spends a lot of time in her mind, I would probably say about 90% of my time is spent up here. I actually struggle to physically be where I am. I tend to disassociate a lot. It will happen when I am bored. It will happen when there are things that are like, it's a lot of overstimulation and I'm like, and then I'm just gone. So it actually is a challenge for me to be in the now and in the present moment. And there are ways that I've come up with, or that I've heard and that I've tried, that have helped me like ground myself further into the now, that are very helpful, which I may share. But I'm not great at being in the waiting place, and I have been in the waiting place for a while now, and it's been very different. Every other time I've been this close to the things that I want, I get really, really fucking impatient, and then I'm like, it doesn't exist, this doesn't work, it's not real, fuck it, and then I go back to the exact same bullshit I was doing before. I start stressing, I start having panic attacks, I start having anxiety, I start having all kinds of problems. And so this is the furthest I've ever gotten in this process, where I had very specific things in mind, but they're vague enough to where if they come in different packages, I will love it just as much. And this in-between time, it's been difficult. I've been chomping at the bit for my shit, if you will. I'm like, where's my stuff? But it really is about being patient. It really is about enjoying where you're at. When you order a package on the internet, you don't stop doing other things. You keep moving forward with the rest of your life. You still do other stuff. And that's something that today I think it finally settled in. But something else that I experienced that somebody watching this may experience in the future or may have experienced, and if so, I feel you, I get you. I woke up this morning and I was kind of sad. And I was like, why am I so sad? The fuck? Why am I sad? And I realized I was sad because I was stepping out of familiar territory. I'm so used to the beginning stages of asking for the things that I want and really like believing that I can have it. I do not spend a lot of time in the receiving place, or in the waiting place and then the receiving place. And the beginning stage is where I am most comfortable. It's the most exciting to me. And so I was like, wow, like I have to find out a way to make the now fun, to make the now manageable for myself. And so I grieved a little bit today thinking about that and being like, wow, so that beginning stage, you're supposed to move out of that. You're supposed to move forward. Nothing stays the same. Change is constant. Cotton mouth. So good. But yeah, so I realized that today. And so I was moved to just listen and to just watch things that make me laugh. So I have been finding various videos on Instagram, because again, I'm not on TikTok. I am waiting to see if there's going to be that ban. If the what did they say? If they're going to stop distributing TikTok, if they're going to stop doing updates and stuff, because TikTok has threatened to be banned at least 4 times already, and they gave us dates, and then it'd be 2 weeks past the date and there would be no ban. So I will actually be surprised if there is a ban, because it seems like every time it starts to happen, everybody freaks out about it. They start being like, I'm going over here, everybody follow me. And then like a couple weeks after that, nothing happens. So I think today is the 7th. So I think from what I remembered, I thought it was January 15th that TikTok is supposed to be banned. So if on January 15th, TikTok is still here, if they decide TikTok is still here, I will hop back on TikTok. I don't know how I will do this type of situation. It might be something where I'll do like, I don't know. I actually have no idea. So I'm not even going to try to guess what I'm going to do. Oh, as a side note, this isn't my real hair. I know some people in the comments on one of my videos were like, oh my God, your hair looks amazing. And thank you, my love. I appreciate your comment. I appreciate your compliment. That kind of boosts my ego a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. But this is not my hair. This is a wig. This is 100% a wig, honey. This is a wig. The whole point of me doing these videos is that I get to dress up. I love dressing up, and I love dressing up even more now as an adult. Like, I'm very big into costumes and cosplay, and I love that whole process. Again, I think I would love to do a stream or do streams where I am building a cosplay from scratch. So those of you who have always wanted to do it but haven't done it can see how I, a person who is a super beginner, you can see how I do it, and then you can kind of adjust or do stuff on your own. And then on Twitch TV, if I stream on there, you actually can listen to music on there. And I'm not making like any money currently off of things. As of the time of recording this, I'm not making any money off of this, but I never want to play music that's going to be copyrighted, because YouTube will just remove the entirety of the sound of the video. 28 minutes and 28 seconds. So for those of you who are thinking of posting videos and you are going to do like a setup like this, where you're kind of talking to the camera, you're kind of getting used to it, or you're thinking of doing cover songs, you're thinking of playing songs, YouTube takes copyright very seriously. So if you're thinking of trying to monetize your content, or you're thinking of trying to put content out there with copyrighted music, they will take off. They will demonetize your stuff. YouTube will, if you have copyrighted music in there. In some cases, it'll remove the sound completely. I think it just depends. There were a couple of videos that I had that, I deleted a few of them where the sound had to be removed completely, because the song that was playing, I was dancing in those videos, and the song that was playing in the background was a copyrighted song, so it just completely took all of the sound off. And I could have replaced the music, but with the dance that I was doing, I was practicing. I was learning how to do the merengue. And I was dancing with an instructor, and I had just posted it to be like, oh yeah, this is me in a dance class or whatever. And the sound, I couldn't replace the song with a song that I liked that fit the dance. So I was just like, scrap it. So I scrapped the video. But I did a Japanese cover of an old anime, Samurai Champloo, and I did Shiki no Uta, which is I can't remember if it's I think it's the ending credits theme. And I sang it, and when I did it, it's copyrighted, so I can't make any money off of it, but the song still plays. If you're interested in anime theme songs, you can go check that out. That's over there. And no, I'm not like doing a lot of singing stuff much anymore because I have a very interesting relationship with music, like singing it. Growing up, I was raised in a family of singers and entertainers, and so for a good chunk of my life, I sang for other people. I did not sing because I enjoyed it. It was singing because, well, I want to be famous and I want to make money because I'm tired of being broke. And then it was, well, my, grandparents want me to sing at this family event. Our families had these get-togethers where the cousins would all come into town, and then the cousins would be hanging out and playing and having a good time, playing video games or playing somewhere else, and then all of the older relatives would call us all into the house, and they would be like, okay, so such and such can play the piano, play something for the family. And then that cousin would play, and then they'd be done, and everybody would talk about, oh, my daughter plays this and this and this and this, and then it'd be like, okay, such and such, you sing because you learned an opera at school. So it was very much so myself and a few of my cousins felt like we were very like just kind of like dance monkey dance. Like it really was the worst. It really was the worst. And so I got to a point where I became a perfectionist when it came to music. And maybe somebody watching this, whatever you do in entertainment, the types of stuff that you like to do, maybe you too are a perfectionist and you struggle with doing it for the fun of it. I remember somebody asking me, I was like a junior in college, and somebody was like, oh, hey, a bunch of us are going to sing karaoke. Do you want to go? And I was like, no. Singing karaoke isn't fun for me. I've spent my entire life training to sing so that I could be somebody. I'm not going to go and pretend I don't sing well. And I'm also not going to go to karaoke and then sing well, and then it's like, well, now it's not fun for me because I'm going to be critiquing myself the whole night because I was a perfectionist at this time. And now I would totally do karaoke because I'm constantly singing now. And I don't care how it sounds. I just throw shit. I'm just dart at the board. I thoroughly enjoy just singing whatever, which is why I encourage other people to do it because it's just so much fun. Sometimes I will sing. I know the note is going to crack. I know my voice is going to crack. I know I'm not going to hit this note, and I blurt it out anyways. And my dad just be looking at me like, I cannot believe this is happening. And I'm like, yeah. Because I'm happy now. I don't mind sounding bad. I don't mind messing up when I sing, because fuck it. Singing is for me. So, yeah, if you are a entertainer in any aspect, or you provide a service, or you do anything that you used to do and you really enjoyed it, but then it became something that was an obligation, I would encourage you to explore that. To explore it and see if you can find the joy in doing it just for the sake of doing it. I actually do enjoy drawing. I'm not great at drawing things just straight from my head, but I'm pretty good at looking at a picture and then, depending upon what it is, replicating it. I'm really good with birds. I can't really do other animals. My moose looks like a goose. And I know that's a bird, but it's a bigger bird. I could do smaller birds. So I can do like sparrows. I could probably do a pigeon, a raven, a goldfinch. Yeah. I saw a post that said, wow, bird watching really does sneak up on you as you age. And it's true, because I didn't give a fuck about bird watching. And then I turned 28, and I was looking and I was like, man, what type of bird is that? And I literally pulled out my phone and I looked it up, and I was like, oh, it's a mourning dove. Okay, so what sound does it make? And so I was like comparing the sounds, and I was like, that's crazy. And then I started drawing mourning doves, and then it's just become like, anytime I'm out in nature for an extended period of time, I'm like, what type of bird is that? Like, bird watching really does sneak up on you as you get older. Also, squirrel watching. For those of you who've never watched a squirrel, the next time you see a squirrel, just pause and watch. Squirrels are wild. Like, they're kind of crazy. Like, they have fingers. They pick up things, and they're moving around, and they're building things, and they're doing things. And something that I learned about squirrels is that they're actually curious about people. They like to watch people. So a squirrel will be looking at you. It'll be checking you out, and you'll just be over there doing your thing, and it's kind of watching you. I actually got to a point where the squirrels in the old house that my parents used to live in, the squirrels knew me. I would come outside, and for weeks, this was after I separated from my ex, moved back in with my parents, and I was just kind of every day, like, hair messy, wasn't brushing my teeth. Vulnerability moment. I was hair messy, wasn't brushing my teeth in the mornings. I would cry myself to sleep because I was like, I'm alone again. What did I do? I was really going through it. And I would just be like shrugging around, and I'd go outside and sit on the back porch with like a cup of coffee with no cream or sugar in it, and I'd just be sitting there like, just take me now, just. And I would talk to the squirrels. I felt crazy because I'd just be out there talking. Like, yapping is one of my favorite pastimes. And at some point, it got to the point where when I would come out there, the squirrels would come down out of the trees and they would just sit there. And I'd be talking, and they'd, be doing stuff, and I gave them names. It was great. I really felt like Snow White. If Snow White was going through relationship problems and struggling to find her purpose in life. But yeah, so again, don't know why we got off on that tangent. Just a little bit of ASMR there. What else do I have? What do I have to say today? Man, it's not a whole lot. Tiredness and sleepiness is creeping up upon me. It's slowly coming up the driveway in my direction. I'm like, damn. Speaking of coming up the driveway, bro, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to one day get my motorcycle license. I have the classes. Like, I can take the classes. I got a couple free classes that somebody else was like, oh yeah, we're not going to use these, so if you want to take the classes, you can take them. And I want to do it so bad. The only problem is that there's gear that you need to buy. So you got to have boots in order to ride. And because I'm 5'2", and they're not a lot of like small motorcycles, I need like platforms so that I can boost myself. I also need riding gloves. I definitely want a helmet, like all of your basic like accoutrement, if you will. I want to get that, but man, I want to ride a motorcycle so badly. Like, I didn't used to. I used to be like, no, it's dangerous, it's unsafe. And it is dangerous, but man, I want to ride. I've never actually ridden on a motorcycle. Like, I've never backpacked. I've sat on one. I went to the dealership. I went to the Harley Davidson dealership at one point because my dad and my brother were taking the classes so that they could get their licenses and stuff. And I went to just kind of look. I didn't go to the classes with them. But I went and I looked, and they were actually like, oh, you could try this one out. And I sat on it, and it was amazing. And I was like, whoa, the power. Holy shit. Like, I was cheesing so hard. I was like, I could see myself going down the highway. I think my biggest fear is dropping the bike. That's my biggest fear, because those things are heavy, and there's a whole process. Like, you turn around, and then you like drop it to a squat, and then you like push it back up with your legs. That's like a whole thing. I'm afraid at stalling at lights, and then I'm also afraid of dropping the bike because I'm small, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? I feel like it would be easier if like somebody taught me. Like, if I like not learned to ride with a friend, because I would much rather learn to ride in the class, if I'm being honest, because then you don't learn bad habits. But I mean, at least backpacking for somebody would be nice. I don't know. But riding a motorcycle is something I've always wanted to do, and it's something that's been like a dream of mine for a while now. And so I'm very excited about this idea, about getting that done.
I encourage people, if you have like a bucket list, or, or you don't have a bucket list, you should start one and then just start doing the things on that list. So I know people who are like, oh yeah, I want to travel to this location. Like, I would like to go to Ireland. I would like to go to Switzerland. There are a couple of locations in Germany that I want to go. So travel things, and then like things that you can do, like experiences. So like riding a motorcycle is one, getting your motorcycle license is one. I've thought about skydiving for a while, but the older I've gotten, the more I don't want to do that, if I'm being honest, because I'm like, yo, listen, like the feeling of falling, like I can do roller coasters, right? But whenever roller coasters go over the thing and then there's that moment where you're weightless, I'm like, I don't know if I could do that for an extended period of seconds. I don't know if I could do that. I think I might piss myself. I'm not even going to lie at you. I lie at you. I'm lying in your face right now. I'm lying to your very face. No, I can't even lie to you. I think I would piss myself. I don't know if I'd be able to. And then, like, if you're, like, a beginner person jumping out of a plane, usually they have you strapped to the person. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. Like, that's incredibly close for us to not be in a relationship. Like, I came to skydive. This isn't a blind date. Or is it? It could be. I feel like if I'm jumping out of a plane with a person, when we hit the ground, if you're not asking me for my number, what are we doing? Because, like, no joke, like, that is a very intimate experience. Like, I'm the type of person, I'm like, so what are we doing? Like, I've always been, like, a soulmate person. So even though I, like, hated romance as a youth because I was like, I'm never gonna get it, so I'm gonna hate on it, I, like, bro, getting tattoos, if you don't have tattoos and you're planning on getting tattoos, brace yourself for the intimacy between you and your artist, because depending upon the location of your tattoo, bruh, depends on your experience. My tattoo artist in Boston, who is married, wife is gorgeous, and he has beautiful kids, and he's a really nice guy, and he's super chill. When he was doing my when he was doing this one, he did this whole thing for me, and it was really nice, and we got to know each other, and I was like, this is great, I'm definitely gonna, like, I'm gonna use this person. And then I think the next one was maybe the snake, maybe, because I have a snake wrapped around a fountain pen. I can't remember which one it was. I think it might have been these. I think it had to have been these, because he had to be over me as he was doing them, and I was like, he was asking me questions. So, like, he hit me with at some point, he was like, okay, here we go, I'm about to do your tattoo, you ready? And I was like, yeah, okay, let's go, like, because I was like, this is gonna hurt, because everybody was like, these are gonna hurt. They didn't hurt that bad for me, but I don't know, maybe my tolerance is just high. Actually, the most painful tattoo I have is on the outside of my thigh. Every other tattoo that I got pales in comparison pain-wise. I got my entire back done. I got my fingers done. And actually, a good chunk of my tattoo is on my spine, on the back. Did not hurt. These did not hurt. They hurt in the healing process, but they didn't really hurt going on. But the outside of the thigh one really got me, and it's not even that complicated. It's not that complicated at all. But he was standing over me, and he was like, okay, you ready? And I was like, yes. And so I'm leaning back on the table, and I'm just allowing this to happen. And he's talking to me, and he's like, so, how was your day? Stop. I was like, yo, stop it. I am a sucker for conversation. Like, good conversation, yo, such a turn on. And it doesn't have to be anything sexual at all. Literally, how was your day? Eye contact with how was your day. Shut up. Everybody shut up. Everybody stop talking. I get so nervous. I love eye contact. I'm a sucker for eye contact, but I get so nervous. I'm like, oh, no, don't perceive me. But I was like, oh, my day's been good. How was your day? He was like, oh, my day was fine. I had this client and blah, 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 blah. And then he starts telling jokes, and I was over here, like, trying not to laugh, and he's like, stop, don't laugh or I'm going to mess up. I was like, Okay. Everybody needs to calm the fuck down. And then every tattoo that I've gotten, with the exception of the one that I got, I saw a photo on Pinterest and I got this one. Yeah, it's an infinity symbol. It's got flowers in it. And so I got that off of Pinterest. There was another one that I got off of Pinterest somewhere. And those don't really count. But every tattoo I have, actually, I got during a time where I was struggling with something. And not only did the pain of getting the tattoo assist me through it, but also having somebody to talk to who did not judge me, who held space for me. Every tattoo artist I have had has done this. And I consider myself very lucky to have tattoo artists who get that it's not just the tattoo that I'm paying for. It's your ability to be there for me in that moment. And I've actually gotten very emotional. When I was getting my back tattoo done, I got very emotional because I was talking about where I was in my life. And the back tattoo that I actually have is it's a Cthulhu tattoo. And the idea, I could talk about that in another video. But actually no, I'll talk about it now. So the Cthulhu tattoo that I have on my back, the reason why I wanted eyes on my back, not very detailed, but I wanted eyes because to me, I always felt that there was an ugliness that was sitting up under my skin. Like internally as a human being, there was just kind of an ugliness that was there and that I hated for many, many years. And then as I started going to therapy and as I started working through a lot of my issues and toxic behaviors, I began to fall in love with the aspects of myself that were not perfect, that were not attractive, the parts of me that I dare say were detestable in some cases, because I began to appreciate all of me, not just the parts of me that society deemed beautiful or deemed acceptable, but the parts of me that were messy, that were ugly. And so the Cthulhu tattoo is representative of that. And it's also representative of the fact that the demons that have been the demons that I dealt with throughout my entire life that I was running from were actually there to empower me. They were not there to strip me of my power. And it's funny because the quote that I always remember is in Shrek. Yes, I remember this quote from Shrek when, spoiler for Shrek 1, where they're walking in the woods and Princess Fiona is like, oh shit, I'll fun to turn into an ogre. Can't have that happen. And it's it's the night that they're traveling. And she's like, I think we should stop somewhere for the night. And Shrek's like, nah, we got this. And she's like, no, I really think we should stop. And then he says, come on, I'm scarier than anything we're going to run into in this forest. And that is how I feel about my inner demons. I feel like my inner demons are far scarier than anything I'm going to run into in real life. Because it gets dark in there. It gets crazy up here. And so that tattoo on my back represents all of those things. And it's absolutely beautiful. I love it. I am on Instagram. Yasha Thais. I am on Instagram. If you are interested in following me, and I kind of say that loosely because I'm I was gonna try to create a separate account, but I'm like, why? We're doing this whole authenticity thing, so you guys might as well be able to go on my Instagram and see that I am not wearing this wig on Instagram. I actually have very short curly hair. I've been bald multiple times in my life by choice. Because I was very lazy in doing my hair. I was like, I don't want to do it. But now I'm actually growing it back out again. And it's very curly. It's not an afro yet, but it's very curly. It's very nice. At some point, I'm hoping it gets long enough for me to start doing braids and protective styles. But I would like to grow it back out because I miss my hair. But, yeah. So, getting tattoos it can be an incredibly intimate experience. And you hear some crazy stories in there, 48 minutes and 48 seconds. So maybe somebody here is a tattoo artist or wants to be a tattoo artist because you do designs, which yes, please do it. Please train because I love tattoo artists. They're amazing. Not all of them, but some of them are amazing people. My dream, I would like to get a cover-up. I would like to get a couple cover-ups done. I want them done by, I forget her last name, but I think her name is Ryan. She was on Ink Master. She was the one with the gray hair, and she actually won, I think, her season when she was on there, and she won. And I think she's in LA, and I really want to go get a cover-up done by her. I want, actually, the tattoo, and I know this would be, like, a process, but actually the one tattoo I have on my right thigh, I want to get that covered up with, like something else, like a mural, like something really like artsy. And so my dream is to save up money and go to LA and have her do it, because I love her line work. I love how she does stuff. I just think it's amazing. I think it's incredible. So yes, that. But be careful if you're going to get tattoos, my friend, because you may fuck up and fall in love. Speaking of love, I'm still feeling it, man. I'm still feeling it. I'm still in this space where I'm just really excited, and I know the time is coming. I'm very big into, again, the red string theory, that there is a red string that's connecting people in there, you know, a person. But I think that there's multiple. I think there can be multiple red strings, and I think that those strings change depending upon the situation, which kind of changes the whole lore. Like, the whole lore is that there is a 1-to-1. There is one person, and there's a one person, and they are meant to be together. But I believe that people, as they grow and change, can... 50 minutes and 50 seconds as I say this. So I personally believe, this may be important for somebody, I believe that you can become a soulmate to somebody else after growth. Prior to growth, you may not have been that person's soulmate, but after growth, you can be. It's very similar to, like, we want to get into it, the zodiac signs. So you're Capricorn, Aquarius, Cancer, Pisces, like all of that stuff. Sagittarius, Gemini, Libra, Leo, Scorpio, all that stuff. My thing is, a lot of these, like, descriptors of those signs are really funny to me, because when you're dealing with a person who's going to therapy and they work through their stuff, oftentimes people will get those signs confused, because a lot of the signs, like the descriptions that you find online, they're toxic ass descriptions. And you can sometimes tell that the person who wrote it had beef with that particular sign. So I saw one at some point where it was like, I was trying to look up stuff about Aquarius women, because I'm an Aquarius, my sun sign, I'm an Aquarius. And I looked it up, and whoever wrote the article was like, you know, Aquariuses ain't shit. Like, they're super detached. They use people. And I was like, so I know I have issues. And that's how I used to be, but I'm not that way anymore. I'm very loving. I'm very, like, locked into people. That's why I tell people, I'm like, so an unhealed person, or like an unhealed sign versus a sign that is on their healing journey, they seem like two completely different people. Actually, these days, I've had people confuse me with Aries, which is interesting. If you are an Aries and you're out here, hello, how you doing? I've looked you guys up, and you guys are actually pretty dope, so it's like, it's an honor to be confused for an Aries. Let's see, but yeah, I don't really follow the sign stuff to a T, because again, people are different, you know, people's situations and how they grow. Like, there are a lot of people that I know who will use those signs as like, well, I don't date this type of person. So, like, they'll be like, ooh, I dated a Taurus at one point, I'm never dating a Taurus again. And I'm like, okay, you know, Charlize Theron, to each their own. But at the same time, I'm like, but that's not... If a person is growing, and if a person has had very different situations happen in their life, their personality type will change. Like, things will change as time goes on, which has been my experience. So there's some people who I've met, and they've told me, they're like, yeah, you know, I dabble around, here's my sign. And I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't get that at all. And they're like, no. And it's because of the things that I've been through. It's because of the work that I've had to do. So, you know, I mean, I don't know a lot of information about the signs, but like, if so, it's like, oh, they're lazy, you know, oh, they talk too much, blah, 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 blah. But then you deal with a sign that went through some traumatic shit and they're quiet all the time and they're super hardworking. And then you're like, oh, you must be this other sign that's associated with it. And they're like, no, I'm this thing, but I went through some shit and life happens. So I like to dabble in it because it's fun. It's fun for me. I actually use CoStar. I love CoStar as an app. Sometimes it's on some bullshit because it'll be like, today you feel this way. And I'm like, no, I don't. I feel it. It'll be like, you feel down and depressed and you're confused and you're trying to figure out which way to go. And I'm like, actually, I'm the most confident I've been in weeks. I've been out here talking to everybody, handing out my number like it was once at the club. Like, you know, sometimes it's not accurate, but then sometimes it's nice because it'll give me things to think about. So it'll be like, you know, are you being your most authentic self today? And I'm like, well, shit, I have a whole platform that's based on that. I would hope that I'm doing that, you know? So it gives me something to think about. But yeah, I think the science thing is really funny. It's actually hilarious because I looked up some information today on I was watching the Oracle Fairies video and she mentioned a couple of signs and I was like, I don't know anything about those signs, so let me look it up. And I looked it up and it's like, oh yeah, it turns out they're actually the most compatible signs with me. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. I wonder how that's gonna go. It's crazy because it's like I want to know, but I don't want to know. It's like, I want to know who this person that I'm going to be with is. Because even if you don't believe in fate, even if you don't believe in, you know, there being people meant for people, I am going to meet somebody, just like how you have met or are going to meet somebody. And so I wonder, like, what are they doing right now? I'm the type of person who looks up at the night sky and I go, is my person also looking up at a night sky, or are they on the other side of the planet and it's daytime for them? You know, are we both looking at the full moon tonight? Have we looked at the full moon at different times tonight? You know, are we looking at it at the same time? Somewhere out there beneath the pale moonlight, someone's thinking of me. I'm a sucker, bro. I'm such a sucker. I'm such a sucker. Wait, no, get your head out of the gutter. I'm a lover girl. What can I say? What can I say? I'm all about it. Getting to it, yeah. But I think that when a gust of wind hits me, I'll be like, I'm putting all my love into this gust of wind and I hope the wind carries it to my man. Bro. This whole being in love thing is not for the weak, mind you. Being in love is an incredibly intoxicating feeling. And that's what I'm feeling right now. Like, I'm feeling in love with life, and I know whoever this person is, wherever they are, however old they are, you know, whatever walk of life they're on, whether their ethnicity or philosophical views they have, like, whatever is happening there, I'm just really excited to love them and support them the way I feel like they deserve to be loved and supported. And so it's like practicing those types of things on myself. So I try to make sure that I feed myself. I surprise myself with gifts sometimes. Not a lot though, because of the situation I currently find myself in. But sleeping, getting good sleep is one of the ways that I do this. Drinking water is one of the ways that I do this, because I would be concerned about my partner. I'd be like, have you had water today? So how can I not get my water in when that's the one thing I would want my partner to do? I'd be like, come on, babe. Like, I want you to feel good. I want you to feel well. I want you to feel healthy. Part of me is curious if my person's going to see these videos, because I've actually been getting a lot of, like, whenever they do time, I've actually been getting a lot of, like, confirmations that the person is going to be somebody who, it's going to be a long distance situation. And that's interesting because I don't do long distance. My very first relationship that I was ever in was long distance, and it wasn't very far. At the time, I lived in Nashville, Tennessee, and he lived in North Alabama. And we were on the phone like every day, and I was like, I fucking hate long distance, so I tried to avoid it at all costs. But now I don't really mind so much because I'm such a conversational heavy person, and I'm not excited about the idea of jumping right into somebody's pants upon getting into a relationship. Like, I'm not looking for it to be immediately physical, just because I've had physical relationships in the past, and the physical kind of gets in the way of a lot of stuff. And I know some people are like, well, just do it and get it over with. It's like, but that's not how it works for me. For me, the physical aspect, because I am such a spiritual person, it means a lot to me. Like, if we're making heavy eye contact, and I tell people this, I don't go into relationships at this point in my life. I don't deal with people and not let them know what they're getting into. I'm like, hey, listen, so this is how I feel about these things. You think you can handle that? And it's not really about like a person handling it. It's more, is this the type of freak you trying to match? Because that's really what it is. Like 59 minutes and 59 seconds as I say that. Like, are you trying to match my freak or not? That's all I'm trying to know. Like, are you on it? On what? Me. No. No. I mean, yes. but yeah. I don't know what I was saying with that. I'm just feeling some type of way. Feeling some type of way. I am really excited to see how things transpire. But I'm not gonna lie to you, fam. This in-between time is definitely, it has been a struggle. And as things happen, and I am able to share them with you all, I will. I mean, I think the biggest thing is going to be if I pop up and my background looks really different because I'm like, hey, I'm no longer living with my parents, so I'm doing these videos not from the closet where I was. It's a new closet. No, I'm just kidding. Preferably I would like to be like in an apartment situation where I have my own room and I can have my own computer setup and everything. Like, I have a computer set up here, but I share my room with my sister, so I can't really do videos and stuff like during the day. Because it's like, you know, people are constantly like, what are you doing? Where are you at? Phone call, this, pay this bill. Like, it's so much. So I do these videos in the closet where it's quiet, where I can relax, and I can not have to worry about being interrupted. I'm glad these videos help some of you go to sleep. That makes me really happy. I feel bad though, because there'll be occasions, like upon occasion I get loud, and like I like to laugh and stuff like that, so then I'm always like, ew, sorry, I didn't mean for it to get super loud. And I also have noticed my microphone is doing some weird stuff. I think it started on like the 10th video I did where the microphone started to kind of go in and out sound wise, and I was like, what is that? But I'm recording on my phone, and I do have an Android, so it's not the best quality, but it gets the job done. The dream is to have a camera. It's to have a camera set up. It's the dream. I actually did have a camera. I had a Canon camera, but I gifted that to my sister because she, for her classes and stuff, for like cinematography, the camera is very beneficial. So I was like, this is your gift. This is what, I love you so much. So she has that now, and I'm very happy that she has it. She's so cool. I love my sister so much. I love all of my siblings. Like, it's really interesting being an oldest child. So it's me. I am 31, and then my sister, my first sister who was born after me, is 3 years younger than me. Then my brother's 3 years younger than her, and then my youngest sister is 4 years younger than him. And it's really interesting to be relatively close to my siblings, because hearing other people that they don't really like fuck with their siblings at all, and I'm like, I love my siblings. Like, anytime we get together on Discord, it's such a fun time. And of course there are the sibling dynamics, you know, that we, oh wow, my ears are popping and I'm getting lightheaded. Maybe I'm just sleepy. I might just be sleepy. I'm hoping that's what it is. But I have like a chat with my siblings, and I'm constantly cackling. Like, these guys are so funny to me. I love these people. I love my siblings. They're amazing. But it's interesting being the oldest and knowing that I gave them shit in a lot of ways. And then it's interesting because I moved out once I started dating. I was like, finally, I'm escaping. But then I felt bad because I felt like the household and the home situation was pretty emotionally volatile, and I felt really bad. Ooh, ringing in both ears. So yeah, whoever this is for, whoever's still watching, I did not have like a physically abusive home situation, but I did have a situation where my parents were very much so in the church and then were leaving the church and really trying to figure out who they were and what they wanted as they were having children, and that went exactly how you expect it would go. And so there was just a lot of, you know, they did the best they could with what they had. And in a lot of cases, there are disagreements that my siblings and I have on how we were raised and how things went down, and, you know, who they were hardest on and who they weren't hardest on. And I feel like every family has this where, you know, everybody has a different view of what happened. And, like, why did I start talking about this? My ears started ringing something fierce. I don't remember. Oh, but, like, you know, when I was growing up, I was a dick. I was a dick. I was exactly what you would expect from an oldest sibling, because I'm the oldest of the four. And I was an ass. But then I moved out, and I felt bad for leaving my siblings in the situations that I left them in. And then when I came back, they were all super tight. Like, they were super close. And they got theirs. They hit me with all of the roasting. They made fun of me. Nothing was off limits. And at first I was like, okay, friendly banter. But they evolved while I was gone. And the roasting and the jokes, it got to a level that I could not keep up with. And I was like, wow, my feelings really hurt. And I cried a few times, but I was like, I mean, suck it up, bro, because they had to deal with you when they were growing up. So it got to the point where eventually I was vulnerable. I was like, hey guys, this kind of hurts my feelings. Like, I'm really insecure about this thing. And they were like, oh, well, sorry about it. And I was like, that's cool. We can move on. Having siblings is weird. It's like, these people growing up can be like your greatest supporters, but they can also be your biggest ops. And then when you become adults, it's like, water under the bridge. It's whatever. Or you hate them for the rest of your life and you're like, we don't talk. He who must not be named. You mean your twin brother? Yes. Like, it's the weirdest thing being in an immediate family of 6 people. It's pretty crazy. But I would not go back and change anything. There are definitely moments where I'm like, I could have been a better big sister. There are a lot of moments where I could have been better. I didn't know to be better. I've heard a lot of arguments between siblings, like, online about like Gen Z talks about their struggles, and they're like, you know, the millennials don't know, and then the millennials are like, well, they don't know. And the truth of the matter is we all had trauma. We all went through it. And it's just different. The types of stuff we went through was different. Like, I, as an oldest child, struggled with trying to be perfect, trying to please my parents. And then my youngest sister is, like, she had people-pleasing tendencies that she was working on, but she also spoke her mind. When she started coming into herself, she actually inspired me to be more authentic, to start setting up boundaries. And I will be eternally grateful to her, because that's when I really started figuring out what I wanted to do for me. 8 minutes and 8 seconds as I say that. So if you're watching this and you do have siblings who you're relatively close to, reach out. Say, hey, loser, I love you. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. But reach out, and if they were in any way impactful to your life, let them know. Because oftentimes we assume people know. We're like, oh, of course this person knows I love them. Oh, of course this person knows that they changed my life. It doesn't hurt to tell them. It does not hurt to tell them. Let them know. Let them know how you feel. There's no time like the present. And things are constantly, and I've said this before, but things are constantly in flux, and things are constantly changing. So why would you wait? Why would you wait for something to happen before you communicate to your people? Like, before you kiss your homies goodnight. Like, you know, you might as well. This feels really random. Like, this video definitely feels super duper random. It's weird. My eyesight's doing weird stuff now. It's not even like... It's like... It's hard to explain. But I'm definitely tired. I didn't get very much sleep last night. And to the people who usually don't, 9 minutes and 23 seconds last night. So I don't know what that's about. Maybe who I'm talking to did not get much sleep. So you should try to get some sleep, my love. You should try to relax your mind, let the rhythm unwind, you know, count some sheep. Tips for going to sleep. I have a few. You're not gonna like this first one. Something that I started doing was I started journaling before bed, and I started like meditating for 5 minutes, and what that does is it actually gets your body into the habit of exhausting itself before bed. A lot of people who are on their phones right up until they go to sleep, some of them don't have good sleep, and they're like, well, why? I exhausted my mind. And it's like, well, you did, but there's also the light. Like, your body gets confused about whether or not it's daytime or nighttime if you have your phone right in front of your face as you're trying to go to sleep. And this isn't something that I'm like, you know, because I be on my phone all the way up until I go to sleep. So I was about to say I have to get better about that, but not really, because the stuff I watch all the way up until I go to sleep makes me cackle. Like, that's the point. I want to put myself in the best feeling place possible before I slip into being unconscious, because then my dreams are usually better at that point. But doing something that tires your mind, so like reading crossword puzzles. I'm definitely getting close to winning a crossword tournament right now that I am in. It's just me and one other person, but I've been on a mission. I actually was a part of it. I was playing 3 people at one point. It was like a group session, and I got 3rd place. It was disappointing. That first person, they put... What did they put? They put some crazy word like extrapidalian, and I was like, the fuck? And they got like 100 points right off the bat, and I was like, what's even the point of playing, bro? What's even the point? But, yeah. Oof, yeah, okay, so I am tired. So I think this actually might be the first video where I dip because I'm tired. Usually I would keep going. But I'm so tired. This is such a nice feeling. I might not even make it to watch a funny video, because if I close my eyes, that's a wrap, homie. That is a wrap. But I will keep y'all posted. I'm doing these every night until I move not to. So I'm gonna keep y'all posted on what's happening. If I can. If I am moved to share things that happen in my space, I will. Again, you don't have to like, subscribe, or comment on these videos. I just enjoy being able to yap. I enjoy having you all here, par usual. Thank you to those of you who have subscribed. I noticed a few more subscribers. Thank you for joining me here. You guys are amazing and wonderful, and you don't even know. The people who comment, you ask me questions, or you make statements, I love it. I love it, because then I have, like, if I think about it, then I can talk about it in a video. Yeah, so let's see. I hope that you continue to have a good morning, evening, afternoon, or night, wherever you're at. Hug your inner child for me. Tell them they're beautiful and special and amazing, because they are. Take some deep breaths before you go to bed tonight, and imagine yourself with all the good that you desire. Imagine yourself in the place that you want to be, in the relationship that you want to be in. You know, feel those vibes. Feel them super duper heavy. And make sure you get some water in. Is there anything else that I can think of tip-wise before I go to bed? I have a feeling there's something else I'm supposed to say, which is why I'm kind of procrastinating on ending the video, because I have a feeling there's something I'm supposed to say. It's not a download per se, but it's like a piece of information that I feel is going to be vital for somebody who is watching this video all the way up until this evening. So hold on, give me a second. If you can be patient with me. Ooh. Tiny stomach things. What do we have? Do we have anything? Ooh, tummy. Chill, bro. I just thought of something, a post I saw on Instagram, and it said, hot girls have IBS. That was really funny to read. I was like, damn. I'm currently playing a dangerous game because if I fall asleep, that's it. A true sleep stream. Do I have anything else? Or am I just killing time right now? Oh my god, I'm so fucking tired, guys. It's something. There's something I'm supposed to say. Bully, 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 bully. I already told you all to do the thing that you're motivated to do. I talked about enjoying the moment that you're in. Talked about getting some good sleep. No, it's not that. Talked about going for a walk yesterday. If you're still here, I appreciate your patience while I try to get my mind right. We've already talked about loving yourself. Love is a paradigm shift in the brain that will help you further down the line. We've talked about how great your 2025 is going to be. Yeah, I don't think... Maybe this was it. Maybe it was a practice in patience. Maybe that's what it was. Be patient. With yourself, maybe? Maybe? Be patient with yourself. Maybe? Slow down. Some of you are very excited about the newness of your spiritual path and your metaphysical stuff that you're doing or your new businesses that you're starting, and you've got this really great momentum. But slow down, because if you are not sleeping, you're not getting rest, and you're just simply burning the candle at both ends, as they say, you are going to burn out, and then you're going to disappoint yourself when you don't have the energy to come back. So pace yourself. Pace yourself, my love. Pace yourself. 17 minutes and 17 seconds as I'm saying that. So take your time. You have all the time in the world. This is a mental thing that I started to tell myself. And it's because it spits in the face of, you are this old, you should be doing things by this age, and this is what you need to do. That is very much so the on rails aspect of society that tells us that we have to be doing any particular thing by a particular time. Like, I am 31. And I definitely thought by this time I would, if I was going to have kids, I'd already have a couple. I have no children at present. I have no prospects. But by this time I really thought, you know, and I said this in another video, so maybe this is for somebody who isn't going to watch my other videos or who hasn't seen them. I really thought I was going to have children by this time. I thought I was going to know exactly what I wanted to do. I thought I was going to be living on my own, preferably in a house, you know, with the kids and being a part of the PTA meetings and all that. Like, I really thought that's where I was headed, but I am essentially starting over. At the age of 30, I was starting over. Coming out of a, 9-year relationship, moving back into my parents' house, completely shifting and changing my career, you know, and not really knowing what's going to happen, and choosing a very different life path than what I've chosen before, which is to go down, the spiritual metaphysical stuff. and to hope and to allow my internal or my inner child to drive. And sometimes when I'm doing these new things, and sometimes when you're doing these new things, it can be very tempting to go at it full force and to just keep going and to keep pushing and to keep pushing. But remember to pace yourself. Here it is. This period of time that you are in, you will not come back to once you have moved out of it. 19 minutes and 19 seconds as I say that. And 9 is the closing of chapters. It is the completion of an aspect of your journey. Realize that when this is done and you have officially moved, you will never come back to this exact place again. Because even if you shoot for the stars and you don't get what you wanted and you end up, with no money, or you're feeling like you're starting over, you're not, because the knowledge that you gain from that experience is always going to make you different. It's not possible for you to go backwards and be in the same place that you were in before, because you learned more things and you had more experiences than you did when you were there before. So for me, when I moved out of my parents' house, I had no intention of coming back. When I moved back in, I was like, I cannot believe I'm starting over. But I'm not really starting over. I'm just changing paths. It's different. That feels good to say. It feels good. It feels good. So remember, my loves, as you are continuing on through your day, and if if I am going to see you again, that's great. But if I don't see you again, remember this. There is no starting over. There is simply changing the path. Focus less on the time it's going to take and focus more on the desire. Focus more, on what that's going to provide you fulfillment-wise. Treat yourself like the human being that you are. You're not a machine. You're not something that does not experience emotions. You're a human being. And life is meant to be enjoyed. It's meant to be prosperous. It's meant to feel good. It's meant to be a learning opportunity. Okay? So slow down. Yes, I love your dedication. Dedication and commitment is so sexy to me. I love that shit. And at the same time, pace yourself. Okay? Well, I love you guys. And I'm going to head to bed now. And I will holler at y'all tomorrow night. Deuces.